AI is, generative AI is an amazing leap for all companies. And as more companies start to learn what AI is and what generative AI is, it's going to completely change their business. It's a great thing, but like all great things, we have to monitor it very closely and see where it takes us and where it goes.
If I would like you to give some advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching your podcast and give them some advice how they can build their companies, how then how they can make their companies successful.
Always stay motivated, always teach, and always learn. But the number one key is, don't focus on making money, and because the money will come if you do it right and you build a great company, and you know do what you love. And don't let anybody tell you your idea is ridiculous or stupid or it's never going to work or
Hello everyone, my name is Ali. I'm the CEO of Al-Burraq Technologies. Today we have another tech star with us, and as promised, we are going to ask him about his journey, how he has built his companies, what are the lessons he has learned throughout his life, and we are going to go deeper and get some insights from him as well. How are you, Bell?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
So it would be great if you can give your introduction so that our audience can connect with you.
Sure. My name is Bill Campbell. I'm the CEO of Balancelogic, as well as the CEO of IT Assurance. I'm an expert in cybersecurity, small business operations. We've been in business 19 plus years. Um, I come from a technical background, but also from a management background, which I think is critically important to have both forks in that road.
Right. So, Bill, I have seen your profile. You have done so many things, and you have been the champion of volunteership, and you have amazing values on the SMEs as well. So, we are going to talk about some of the issues SMEs face during the journey. But before we do that, I need to know about your journey. How did you started, and what were the things you have faced in the journey? And please tell us about that.
Sure. So I guess I would say I started my journey a while ago, spending over 8 years in the United States Marine Corps. Once I got out of the Marine Corps, I took a leadership position as a director in IT. Worked through that, had a couple other jobs in management, IT and management, but I kind of worked my way up from PC technician, each position going from PC technician all the way up to a CIO. So I filled all those roles within the technology kind of roadmap. After that, I worked for as a CIO in a government contracting company, and then really when it hit me, I kind of seen gaps in the market of where different departments, weren't really communicating with each other. So I really dove deep into processes and procedures and interdepartment processes, and it hit me regardless if you're a one person company or 10,000 people. Simple tasks in everyday operations were not working properly. They were kind of misaligned. And give you an example of that is, hiring an employee at a company. That once that hiring process kicks off, there's so many different departments within your organization that have to get involved. Whether it's IT, whether it's admin, whether it's HR, all those have to get involved. And if they don't get involved properly and the process is not right, the employee could be sitting there for several days and not really being productive. So that kind of kicked me off on a journey of really understanding how each department in an organization works and how they collaborate together to create a good, proven, productive process. And that kept me thinking of, if this is how it works in a larger organization. I mean, the organization I was a CIO in was it was very large. Well, I say very large, several hundred people. And then there was some issues with that those interdepartment policies, as I was saying. So I decided, hey, there's an issue in the market here. Let me try and fix that gap. And that's kind of when I came up with the idea for Balance Logic. Whereas, we can take all those different business operations, like in a larger company, you have an admin department, you have an IT department, you have HR, you have executive management, you have other, quality assurance, whatever it may be. Um, and take those services and kind of create one business model out of that, because whether you're a one owner company or you have 100, 200, 300, 500 employees, the processes and the services that are required to maintain and grow that company are all the same. You need all the same business operational services. So I decided to create a company, a model based on that. So Balance Logic, came about. We started with, you know, two services, which were IT services and financial services, accounting and bookkeeping. And then the plan from there was to introduce a different vertical uh, every 12 to 18 months to create a unified solution for the SMB. Because if the problem in the SMB, more in small business than medium, is business owners are good at what they do, but they can't do everything. So they do what they're good at. It's human behavior. But all the other things, whether it's website design, whether it's graphic design, whether it's IT, all those things go to the wayside. So companies they don't have the ability to grow. So we created an organization where we provide those business operational services to the SMB. And that started 19 years ago, and here we are today.
But from this description, I do have a question, because when you are building a single company, all the tasks which you said that you are providing as service, these are all departments, and
Mhm.
they are a challenge within a one company as well to handle those departments. Like if you talk about HR, if you talk about finance, they are two different departments, and it is a challenge to manage them, right? You took over
Mhm.
the challenge that you are going to manage other companies' departments in your company. So I'm curious how many times you have faced the decline or the hard times or the challenges which other companies do not face. Your challenges must be very different from the other companies.
Well, actually, it's the opposite. If you look at it from the point of view, we're set up to where we have those proven processes, policies, procedures that are streamlined in our organization because we have to provide those to our clients. So managing all of our departments internally is a lot easier, right? Because we have those things, they're proven, we've done them, we've proven them in different companies, which we've learned. Like when we would work with an organization and we would put a different process or procedure in, or we're providing support in that area of responsibility, we've learned from that as well. And we've incorporated that internally and continue to grow how we do business internally, which in turn helps us provide a better service to our clients.
Right. So let's talk about one other challenge which you might have faced, right? Because let's talk about the finance for now. Let's say there is one company who are working with you, and you are handling their finance department. So when the other company comes to you and you tell them this is our client and we are dealing their finance, if they're competitors, don't they show reservations or things like that? Or you have ways to convince them that there is nothing like privacy concern or things like that. So how do you convince them?
That's a great question, and we face that, and it's hard. It's a huge challenge. And I'll give you an example. We're an MSP, a managed service provider for IT security cloud services, and we'd have another MSP or another IT support company that would come and say, "Hey, look, we understand that we do the same business, but we have a need for a website. We have a need for graphic design or to take over our marketing services." And it is a challenge, and a lot of organizations, a lot of companies will back off from it. They won't engage because of the simple fact of competition, and that's one of the big challenges in the market is competition. People, business owners, CEOs are afraid of competition, whereas my viewpoint on that is, I say I like to eat competition for breakfast, right? Because competition is going to keep you on your toes. It's going to make you be aware, and it's going to make you better because you're going to learn where you're not doing so well or where you can do better. So yeah, we don't support a lot of clients that do the same things that we do, but we do have clients that have competing services, and the understanding obviously is, we're not going to go meddle in their business or talk to their clients or anything. There's a very clear understanding of professionalism of, you've engaged us for website design or to take over your marketing. We wouldn't dare to even think about going after your clients for the competing service that we have. But that's a level of professionalism, and it's a challenging and hard conversation to have, and not a lot of business owners are willing to engage in that, which is completely understandable.
Yeah, I do understand that you will be able to convince some people and you won't be able to convince some, right? So I do
Correct.
understand that challenge because I'm running my own business. So I know that this is a challenging task. And when you tell people that your competitor is also with us, and these type of things come, and you have to handle that as a CEO or as a salesperson. So let's talk about, because you have done a lot of work in with the SMEs. Let's talk about the challenges SMEs face normally as well. What do you think? What is the key turning point for an SME to become a success and to become a failure as well? Because not all the companies go toward the success.
Right. So, when you talk about SMEs, subject matter experts, I'm an SME in a couple different areas, which I think is different, right? I think there's two parts of this. The first part in SME is you're a subject matter expert regarding a specific topic within a specific company. Whereas if you're working on a contract, you call this the SME or the SME in, and they can provide their technical feedback on that. Um, the other side of that is a SME is in the certification world, um, where I'm also a SME for that. So I'm a SME for CompTIA, helping writing and develop their certifications exams, as well as AWS, Amazon Web Services. I'm a SME and a lead SME for them as well. Whereas I provide my technical expertise to help write the certification exams for them. So I think there's two sides of a SME, well, two sides that more of responsibilities, right?
Because you have been involved with a lot of SMEs as well, small, medium enterprises. So, what do you think are the key points why some SMEs do not get success? And what is the key point or the turning point for an SME to be successful?
Yeah. So from that point of view, I think it's 100% it's leadership. Leadership is the key. You have to have a good leadership team. You have to have a CEO that understands leadership, and you have to understand how to build good teams. You can't just hire anybody. You have to hire people that are a fit for your organization, and you have to hire people that you're willing to be able to learn from. If you hire experts and then tell the experts how to do things and what to do, then you're not going to learn, and then you're going to just face some challenges there. So I think the number one point is leadership. Number two is you have to be able to hire the right people for the right job. And then I think the other part of it is understanding your business. If you don't understand your business, then you're not going to be able to do business development. You're not going to be able to do sales. You're not going to be able to train your sales team on you know what they're selling. You have to know what your business is, and you have to be able to properly communicate that to your target audience.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That leadership is the ultimate thing that leads towards success. And with that, there is another thing. Values of a company are also very important, right? A vision of the company, mission of the company, they are also very critical. So, what do you think
They
about
are.
that?
Yeah, they are. And you said three key words there, right? Mission, vision, and value. And here's the problem with that, specifically in the SMB, the small and medium enterprise business, or excuse me, small and medium businesses, is that they're just words. It's like a business plan. You're told, when you start a business, you put a business plan together. You put the business plan together. It's all pretty beautiful, and then you stick it on the shelf, and it sits there forever, and you never look at it again. I think it's the same with those three key terms, your mission, your vision, and the values, is that we kind of take those for granted. We create a mission. You're supposed to create a mission and vision, right? And you're supposed to develop values. But a lot of companies, you'd be surprised, don't have a mission and vision. They have it in their head, but it's not documented. It's not displayed or showcased around the office. It's not communicated to their employees, and they don't understand why that the company and their team is not performing the way that they want them to, because they don't understand what's in your head as a leader or as a CEO. Um, and then I think they do them. A lot of organizations don't really understand what a mission and a vision are. They're two completely different things. Whereas a vision is, where do you see yourself at the top of the mountain, and your mission is what you do when you come into work every day to get you to that top of that mountain, right? And I think a lot of organizations don't really grasp the concept of that. They just look at the words as face value. As far as values, we all have our own values, but I think a lot of organizations turn it into more of a negative marketing, whereas they put values out there. It's like customer service, so they'll put values out there, but they don't stand up to them. They don't hold true to them. Just like you hear every company out there says, we're great at customer service. We got excellent customer service. They say that because people want to hear that, but it's really empty. There's no meaning to it, because in reality you don't have great customer service. So it's just words that we say that we really don't truly whether believe in or live up to. So it's very interesting. I've seen this in almost 20 years of being in business. We take those to heart. We believe that they're very important, and when we say what our values are, they stand for more than just face value. They are backed up.
That makes a lot of sense. So, do you think a company can be a great company without these things?
Absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. You can have great parts of a company. You can have a great leader. You can have a great sales team, but an overall team, the view of the overall company, everybody has to be cohesive. Cohesive. They have to be collaborative. You have to speak one voice. You have to tell one story. If not, it's going to be fragmented. And then when things are fragmented, we all know that there's going to be issues. I mean, you can have a great company that performs a lot of revenue. You can have a great company that performs and gets a lot of profit, but overall, is it a great company? No. Culture plays a huge part in my definition of a great company. At the end of the day, it's not about how much money you make. It's somewhat about how much profit you make, right? Because you have to be able to stay in business. But it's about your story, your identity. What do you stand for? How do people view you? In marketing, there's two terms that are really important. One is brand identity, and one is brand image. Brand identity is what you see yourself, what you tell everybody you are, and your brand image is what your target audience or what the public or community see you as. And as a marketing expert, your job is to uh, look at the delta, right, and close that delta down. Your brand image should match with your brand identity, and if that does, then I think you have a great
That
company.
makes a lot of lessons. So that is truly inspiring for the people who are aiming to build a great company. Because you can build a good company, but there's a difference between a good company and a great company. And
Yeah.
in order to build a great company, you must have a vision, and that should be transferred. Everybody should know that. What is the vision behind it? Okay,
Yeah.
now let's talk about the team building. How do you suggest that companies should build their teams? And when you say that whether some team member is a cultural fit within your organization or not, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think the biggest mistake companies make today, and I see a change, it's changing for the better. But when you hire your employees, immediately you have a negative culture, because you say every new employee that's hired, you're in a 90-day probationary period. And then after 90 days, your benefits start, and then you're part of the team. Starting off hiring an employee like that is insane. It doesn't make sense. You're already starting off with a negative culture. as business owners, we always understand that, when you hire a new person, they have to be onboarded. They have to, learn to be part of the team. They have to learn the company. They have to learn their roles and responsibilities. But why start it off with a negative connotation of a probationary period? Right. So at our company, we don't use that term. We use the fit in period. It's a little softer, but it's more comprehensible, right? So if you're working for a company, there obviously has to be a fit. If you're not a fit, then obviously you're not going to work at the company anymore. So that's the approach we take it. But to build a great team, you obviously have to have leadership, you have to have culture, and you have to have effective communication, right? It's whether it's a personal relationship, a marriage, or your team, all the rules are the same. You have to treat people with respect. You have to have great communication. You have to be transparent, and you got to be willing to help that person and empower them, and not shield them from learning or shield them from understanding what's at the next level. You want to lead them and empower them. And I think if leaders do that, then I think they're going to build good teams.
Yeah, I strongly think that empowerment is the most important thing for the scalability. If you are not going to lose your chair and let anybody else sit on your chair, then you are not going high. When you are
Right.
going
You should
to
you should
reach,
you should aim to have every employee want to take your job. If you're a
yes,
manager or
yes,
you're a director, you should train your team and your
exactly,
staff to want to be able to take your job and not be afraid of it.
exactly,
You should be
exactly.
comfortable in doing that.
Yeah, you should be in competition with them, and you should
Yep.
be. They should give you a tough time. I
Right.
totally agree with that. So let's talk about remote work as well, because remote work is the new normal. Everybody knows that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic, and I'm I'm probably one of the guys that kind of disagree with that. Right. Um, I think during COVID, the pandemic, it was somewhat of a necessity, right? We were all scared into, take drastic action. Nobody knew what was going on. We listened to the media, we listened to the government, and we all took action, right? Um, which changed massively the culture in the business world, from small business all the way to enterprise companies. Um, as and it was a good thing, right? We were still able to work, we were able to generate revenue, people were safe in their home. But the caveat to that is, now that we're, I'll say the tail end. I'm not a doctor, right? Or a pandemic specialist, but I'll say we're at the tail end of that. And things are, or for lack of a better term, normalizing. We're finding that remote work is not as productive as it was before. I correlate it to, if you're really hungry, you eat a cracker. That's the best cracker you've ever eaten, right? But in reality, it's not. If you're not hungry, then that cracker is not as good as it is if you're hungry. So, in a pandemic state, working remotely is good. It's the answer. But now that we're past that, and we don't have to do that. It's not the answer. And this could be a huge, drawn out long conversation and debate on this topic. But like many companies, we did a phased approach back. We wanted to make sure that we followed the rules, so to speak, and did what we thought was best based on the information that we have, because you can only make effective decisions on the information and experience that you have. So we did a phased approach back. We're completely back in the office. The team's great. They're motivated. They're collaborative. We communicate well. But I think this is, for companies continuing to stay with remote work. It's a challenge, and I think the biggest challenge is leadership. Right? We always circle back to leadership. When you have, we'll just say, 5 team members in your office, it's pretty simple to lead and manage them, right? If you can't see them, you can't stand next to them, you can't have a face to face. It makes your job of a manager or leader, uh, the difficulty skyrockets, right? You can't, you don't have that. Um, I don't want to say control, that insight to what they're doing, how they're doing it, if they need assistance, if they have questions. It just makes the job of leading a team and managing projects a lot difficult. And not to mention, the financial aspect of it. There's companies that, we went through the same thing. You have a lease on a piece of real estate, you have offices in there, you have equipment in there, you have utilities in there, and they're empty. It's like paying for a house that you never live in and never visit. From a financial point of view, it's a waste, right? So of course you want to have your employees and your team, and for yourself to go work in that asset. It's important. But I think for some companies it works. For some companies it does not work. And I think in the SMB the majority does not work.
Hmm. Okay, I think that is again dependent on the leadership, and because there is one other aspect of it. After the COVID, now many companies in the competition are providing you remote opportunity. So people are looking for those companies, and they say that if they can work remotely, why do they need to go to the office? There are mixed people, and
Yeah.
some people wants to go to the office and they like social touch in their life, but there are people who are introvert and kind of they want to live in their own nutshell. So what
Right.
do you?
I mean, look, if you tell me I can go on vacation 6 months out of the year, I'm not going to say no. I mean, of
Yeah,
course, if you have the opportunity to work from home in your pajamas, drink coffee at your own comfortable couch, who wouldn't want to do that, right? I mean, it
exactly.
completely makes sense. But the
But
degradation
then
of your team.
give me a sec.
Go ahead.
Give me a
Yeah,
second. So then, how would you compete with those companies? Because that competition is in the market. So how would you
of course.
compete with them?
Well, I mean, again, we could talk about this for a long time, but I'll answer your question. So, you know, competing is one thing. So one advantage, we go back to saying if it's easy to work from home, unless you don't want to be at your house and you want to go to the office, right? Um, so that's an advantage there, right, or disadvantage, if you will. But yeah, it's nice to work from home. It's nice to be able to be comfortable. We all would like to do that, but the reality is, it makes an impact to the team, and then it creates, backlash, right? How do you properly do a review? A performance review, and people get very, I don't want to say lazy, but complacent, and then that behavior now becomes standard behavior, right? Now, I mean, you've seen it all across the industry. I work from home for a year. Now I don't want to work. I don't ever want to go in the office again. I like this, right? And it's just my opinion. I don't think it's good for a good majority of companies, but there are companies that it works and it's effective, and that's great. Regarding the competition, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be challenges in competing with other companies, right? If you're up against, hiring an employee, and your competitor says, "Oh, you can work remotely, and I'll pay you the same amount of money, or I'll pay you more money," and that potential employee goes to that company, so be it. I mean, there's always going to be different avenues of competition that you got to face, and that's just going to be another one. One area where I see it is a positive, and it is a benefit for businesses, is that now your workforce is not restricted to be local, right? In the past, it was local. You had to find talent local, or you had to hire a recruiter, a headhunter, go out, find somebody, and then pay for expenses for them to relocate locally. So I think one positive of remote work is now your workforce that you're looking for is not just local. You can hire people across the United States, across the world, to fill gaps or fill positions or new positions, add talent to your team, and again, your the workforce pool is way bigger now. So I think that's one positive.
No, right, right, right. That makes a lot of sense. Of course, we have very different opinions.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine because that is, ultimate thing. We do have diversity and we do have different opinions. We should have that acceptance of the others' opinions. And what you are saying is, I agree with that, because as I said, it is totally dependent on the leadership, how that leadership wants to build their company, what
Mhm.
their vision is, or what are they looking for. So totally agree with that, and your insights are 100% right. So I won't say that they are not right. You do have the access of worldwide talent pool, and
Mhm.
people do get lazy. I will not use the other word, right? So I'll use the proper word which you
Right.
were trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's talk about the AI.
Mhm.
What do you think? What are the future prospects considering AI? Where are we heading?
It's the topic of the century, right? It's
But it's a current topic, and it
it
is
is.
going to extend until the next century.
Right, it is, but it's a hot topic. It's probably the number one topic out there. It's very interesting. The easy, if I could describe it in one word, bittersweet, right? AI is, generative AI is an amazing leap for all companies. And as more companies start to learn what AI is and what generative AI is, it's going to completely change their business. It's a great thing, but like all great things, we have to monitor it very closely and see where it takes us and where it goes. With the good comes the bad. So every time there's a new technology that comes out, there's always someone that wants to turn it into some type of weapon, right? They want to weaponize it. So, you know, in the IT world, it's great. It makes things better. It improves our life. We get things quicker. We're more productive. But yet, at the same time, the bad people are also having the same advantages. So, where they were trying to hack your network before or infiltrate your network, they can do it faster now. They can do it quicker. They can do it easier. So there's always, good versus evil, good versus bad. But I think it's going to change a lot of companies' outlook on business if you're able to grasp it or find that talent or work with a company like ours that will help you do that. Um, it's going to take production to a different level. Some of the things that are coming out now with AI is just it's mind blowing. Um, we use it every day here in some of the things that we do, whether it's mundane tasks, whether it's business intelligence, whether it's research, um, whether it's marketing. It's again, it's bittersweet.
That's nice. That is going to change a lot of stuff, and I think our social values, socio-economic values are going to change, and we will have new challenges in the future and the new solutions as well.
Mhm.
Because the change is so big, the impact is going to be so big. It is going to be like introducing electricity. So let's hope for the best, and let's hope that we match the pace AI has right now.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to do that, but we can hope.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's come toward the end and I would like you to give some advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching your podcast, and give them some advice how they can build their companies, how they can make their companies successful.
Yeah, I think the biggest tip, and I say it over and over again, is don't worry about the money. Don't worry about it. If you focus on making money, it's going to take you so long to get there. Focus on what you want to do. Focus on your idea. Focus on your passion. Live your passion every day. Work to make a great company. Don't start a company with the outcome of having a good company. Work to have a great company, or don't do it at all. Right. So be true to yourself. Hire great people. Always stay motivated. Always teach and always learn. But the number one key is don't focus on making money, and because the money will come if you do it right and you build a great company, and you know do what you love. And don't let anybody tell you your idea is ridiculous or stupid or it's never going to work, or don't listen to the naysayers. There's enough competition out there for everybody. If you find something, whether it's a gap in the industry or a new idea, just run with it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Take advice, but if you have something built, don't let people step on you or push you down. Live the dream, live your passion, and take it as far as you can go. Focus on a great company.
Right, right, right. Thank you so much, Bill. It was great talking to you, and I hope people must have learned a lot. I did learn a lot from you, and I hope that you have also enjoyed.
I did.
Thank you so much. And for the people who are watching this, please do subscribe us so that we can keep bringing more tech stars to your screen.